Chapter 17. Augustine was striding forward at quite a pace now. He looked left and right across the road, searching for a good place to make his play and bring the suspect to heel. The last things he wanted were an audience or a place where the man could escape again once he caught him up. Stride for stride, Augustine was now burning into the lead of the man he believed was Ken Lazarus. As he caught the man up, the odd glance over the shoulder from the pursued told Augustine all he needed to know about the identity of the suspect. It was definitely Ken Lazarus, no mistake. He wore a massive beard that must have taken hours of attention every week to ensure it looked that way. Augustine was personally impressed with the current trend for the beard, but didn't have the time nor the patience to maintain one. So he shaved every few days instead, telling himself that it took up far less time than a proper beard. In reality, he had no idea how long it might take, plus he liked the feel of the stubble on his face. Lazarus had the deepest brown eyes, almost the same shade as his beard. It made his face look like it had been coloured in by a child with a limited number of crayons, but somehow it all worked together. Deep brown hair, deep brown eyes, deep brown beard. It was only the flashes of pale skin in between the darkness that gave Wind there was a face in there. No wonder the skin was so white. There was precious little light allowed through to darken the skin in any way. Lazarus was in his 40s, but dressed like a teenager. Not the teenager he was when he was younger, but the current teens. His penchant for designer clothes brands was paid for by his criminal activities. Gucci D2 and Moose Knuckles clothing were some of those he sported on a regular basis, but his favourite brand of all was Stone Island. The designer clothing shops in the Metro Centre and Newcastle City Centre both loved and loathed Ken Lazarus in equal measure. He spent big when he went there, but his obnoxious attitude made the transaction painful. They had little choice to put up with it. That was the kind of fear he instilled in his fellow man. Lazarus looked like he was ready to explode at any given moment. That earned him something short of respect, more like a wariness from everyone who encountered him. Even the 7-foot-tall bouncer at Flannels in the Metro Centre was wary of Ken Lazarus. He never turned his back on the man, that was for sure. Augustine made the interception opposite the best one-shop in Columbia. There was a row of houses before Lazarus could duck behind and have several options to escape. Augustine knew that his best bet was to make the capture there. The houses had a row of allotments behind, then a school field, and then alleyways over, under, and beside roads. Each house was well presented, except for one, which looked like it had been a dumping ground at some stage in the recent past. The same with the allotments. The rain was in fat drops now. Augustine was ready to find shelter somewhere. He caught Lazarus by the wrist and barged him into the wall outside the end house on the terrace, strong enough to bring him to heel, careful enough not to knock him off his feet. Accusations of brutality would hinder the investigation. Augustine wanted a clean job on this one. "Ken Lazarus, I'm here to ask you a few questions. Do you mind accompanying me back to where we started? I have a car there where we can make our way to the station." "Whatever, pig."